The credit card statement lay spread across my home office desk like a map to my wife's deception. I'd been putting off this monthly chore for weeks, letting the statements pile up while Lisa assured me she'd already handled it. Now, on a cold Tuesday evening in March, I understood why she'd been so eager to manage our finances lately. Mobile Vet Plus, Dr. Brandon Kelly, $300. The charge appeared like clockwork. Every Wednesday, 8 weeks straight, $2,400 for veterinary care that our golden retriever Max didn't need. I minimized my work spreadsheets and pulled up our previous statements. January, February, going back to early December. The pattern was perfect, almost algorithmic in its consistency. Same amount, same day of the week, same vendor. As a senior financial analyst at Davidson and Associates, I'd seen plenty of suspicious patterns in corporate audits. This one was screaming at me from my own bank account. Max padded into my office, his tail wagging hopefully. At 7 years old, he still had the energy of a puppy and the constitution of a tank. His coat gleamed under the desk lamp, his eyes bright and clear. The dog hadn't been sick a day in his life beyond a mild case of kennel cough 3 years ago. "Hey, buddy," I said, reaching down to scratch behind his ears. "You feeling okay? Any joint pain? Mysterious ailments requiring weekly specialist visits?" His response was to drop a soggy tennis ball at my feet and assume the play position, butt in the air, tail wagging furiously. I threw the ball down the hallway, watching him bound after it with the grace of a much younger dog. $2,400. For what? I pulled up our regular vet's portal. Meadowbrook Animal Hospital had been caring for Max since he was a puppy. Dr. Sarah Chen was thorough, professional, and reasonably priced. Our last visit was his annual checkup in November. Clean bill of health, updated vaccines, heartworm prescription. Total cost, $347. No follow-up appointments scheduled. No referred specialists mentioned. No concerns noted in his file. "Lisa?" I called out, keeping my voice carefully neutral. 20 years of marriage had taught me the value of the poker face when gathering information. I heard her footsteps on the stairs, that particular rhythm I knew so well, quick and light when she was happy, measured when she was thinking, slow when she was anxious. These were slow. She appeared in the doorway wearing her comfy clothes, yoga pants and an oversized university sweatshirt. Her blonde hair was pulled back in a messy bun, reading glasses perched on her head. She looked like the woman I'd fallen in love with in college, the one who used to study beside me in the library, stealing my highlighters and sharing her candy. "What's up, hun?" She leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, defensive posture. Interesting. "Just going through the bills," I said, gesturing at the statements. "Quick question. Why is Max seeing a vet every Wednesday?" The micro-expressions flashed across her face faster than most people would notice. But I'd been watching that face for 2 decades. Surprise, calculation, forced calm. "Oh, that's Dr. Kelly. He's a mobile vet specialist." She moved into the room, suddenly very interested in straightening items on my bookshelf. Dr. Chen recommended him for preventive care. You know, since Max is getting older. 7 isn't that old for a golden retriever. "It's senior in dog years," she said, still not meeting my eyes. "Dr. Kelly specializes in joint health and early intervention. He says catching problems before they become serious is crucial. For $300 a week?" She finally looked at me, and I saw something in her eyes I didn't recognize. "He's a specialist, John, and mobile vets charge more for the convenience. He comes to the house so Max doesn't get stressed by car rides and waiting rooms." Max loves car rides. "Well, it's also about my schedule. You know how busy I've been with the library fundraiser. This way I don't have to take time off to drive across town." The library fundraiser. Right. She'd been spending a lot of time on that lately. Late meetings, weekend planning sessions, constant phone calls. I'd been supportive, even proud of her dedication to the cause. 300 seems steep, I pressed. What exactly does he do? Comprehensive examination, joint manipulation, supplement administration, therapeutic massage. The words came out rehearsed, like she'd practiced them. He's very thorough. I bet he is. I turned back to my computer. Which veterinary school did he attend? Colorado State, very prestigious program. Again, the rehearsed quality. Why all the questions? Don't you trust my judgment about Max's care? There it was, the defensive redirect. Turn it back on me. Make me the bad guy for asking reasonable questions about a $2,400 expense. Of course I trust you, I lied smoothly. Just surprised we're spending more on Max's medical care than our own. Maybe I should meet this Dr. Kelly. Thank him for taking such good care of our boy. He's very busy, Lisa said quickly. Too quickly. Books out weeks in advance. We're lucky to have a standing appointment. Every Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Why? Just curious. Might try to work from home next week. Meet the miracle worker who's keeping our perfectly healthy dog in such perfect health. Lisa's laugh was forced. You'd be bored. It's all very medical and technical. Besides, Max gets anxious when both of us hover during examinations. Max, who was currently destroying his tennis ball in the hallway without a care in the world, had never been anxious about anything in his life except running out of tennis balls. If you say so. I turned back to my screen, pulling up a new browser window. What was his name again? Dr. Kelly? Brandon, Dr. Brandon Kelly. She was already backing toward the door. I'm going to start dinner. Chicken stir-fry okay? Perfect. She practically fled the room. I waited until I heard her clattering in the kitchen before starting my research in earnest. Chapter 2. The investigation Dr. Brandon Kelly had a professional website that probably cost more than a real veterinary degree. The design was slick. Soothing blue colors, paw print borders, photos of happy dogs and grateful owners. His headshot dominated the landing page. Mid-30s, Hollywood handsome, with perfectly styled dark hair and a smile that belonged in a toothpaste commercial. The site promised comprehensive mobile veterinary care in the comfort of your home. Services included wellness exams, preventive care, specialized joint therapy, nutritional counseling, and something called holistic canine life optimization. Prices weren't listed. Contact for personalized consultation and pricing. His bio was impressive but vague. Graduate of Colorado State University's renowned veterinary program. Specialized training in sports medicine and rehabilitation. Passionate about preventive care and enhancing the human-animal bond. No graduation year. No specific degrees listed. No professional certifications or memberships. I opened another tab and went to Colorado State's veterinary school website. They had a comprehensive alumni directory, searchable by name and year. I tried every variation I could think of. Brandon Kelly, B. Kelly, Brandon K., even just Kelly. 0 results. The American Veterinary Medical Association maintains a database of licensed veterinarians. Very thorough, state by state. I started with Colorado. No Brandon Kelly. Kansas, where we lived, nothing. I expanded the search nationwide. Still nothing. My phone buzzed. A text from my best friend Marcus, who also happened to be a lawyer. Still on for golf Saturday? Absolutely. Hey, quick legal question. Billable hours start now. What's up? If someone takes payment for professional services they're not licensed to provide, that's fraud, right? Generally, yes. Depends on the profession and state laws. Why? Just curious. See you Saturday. You're never just curious. Everything okay? TBD. Bring your A game. I've been practicing. I turned back to my investigation. Dr. Brandon Kelly had an Instagram account with over 10,000 followers. The grid was perfectly curated. Professional shots of him with various dogs, always in scrubs, always with that megawatt smile. Interspersed were motivational quotes about pet health and the occasional shirtless workout photo. Because nothing says, trust me with your beloved pet like six-pack abs. The comments on his posts were illuminating. Dr. Kelly is amazing. So attentive and caring. Best vet ever. Worth every penny. My dog has never been happier. Those hands are magic. Oh, and great with dogs too. Wednesday can't come fast enough. Neither can never mind. I clicked on the profiles of the commenters. Mostly women, 30s to 50s, all from the wealthy suburbs around our area. Many were divorced or had single mom in their bios. Their dogs all looked remarkably healthy in their photos. One commenter, Sarah Loves Dogs, was particularly enthusiastic. Her profile showed a well-maintained woman in her 40s with a small poodle. Her recent posts included a lot of inspirational quotes about new beginnings and knowing your worth. 3 months ago, she'd posted, "So grateful for Dr. Kelly. Buttercup has never been healthier, and neither have I." Hash best vet ever. Hash Wednesday motivation Wednesday. Always Wednesday. I created a spreadsheet because that's what financial analysts do when processing disturbing information. Column A, Instagram handles. Column B, first mention of Dr. Kelly. Column C, frequency of mentions. Column D, day of week referenced. By the time Lisa called me for dinner, I had 17 women documented. All wealthy suburbs, all middle-aged, all with standing Wednesday appointments, all with perfectly healthy dogs. Chapter 3. The planned dinner was a tense affair. Lisa chattered about the library fundraiser, her book club's latest selection, anything except veterinary care. I nodded and made appropriate noises while my mind raced through possibilities. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe Brandon Kelly was legitimate, just not listed in the databases yet. Maybe he was some kind of holistic practitioner who didn't need traditional licensing. Maybe the Instagram comments were just bored housewives being inappropriate about a handsome professional. Maybe. But $2,400 and a defensive wife suggested otherwise. I might work from home more often, I mentioned casually, serving myself more stir-fry. Davidson's pushing for better work-life balance. Thinks we're more productive without the commute. Lisa's chopsticks paused midway to her mouth. Really? Every day? Not every day. Maybe Wednesdays and Fridays to start. Wednesdays might be tough, she said quickly. I usually have lunch with the fundraising committee, and you know how I hate leaving you without food. I can manage lunch, Lisa. I'm a grown man. And I have that yoga class Wednesday afternoons. The house is so quiet. You'd get more done at the office. Maybe you're right. I let it drop, filing away her eagerness to keep me out of the house on Wednesdays. That night, as Lisa did her elaborate skincare routine, I lay in bed with my laptop, diving deeper into the mystery of Dr. Brandon Kelly. His business was registered as an LLC in Delaware, a common tactic for those wanting to obscure ownership details. The Better Business Bureau had no record of complaints, but also no accreditation. His Yelp page had been claimed, but had reviews disabled. His website's domain was registered through a privacy service. The photos on his site were all stock images except for his headshot, which a reverse image search revealed was also used on a personal training website for Brandon Kelly, Transform Your Body, Transform Your Life. Interesting. I clicked through to the fitness site. Same man, same smile, but in athletic wear instead of scrubs. This site was older, less polished. The bio mentioned certifications in personal training and bodywork therapy. No mention of veterinary anything. What are you working on? Lisa's voice made me jump. She stood beside the bed, applying hand cream with practiced motions. Quarter-end reports, I lied, tilting the screen slightly. Davidson wants preliminary numbers by Thursday. You work too hard. She climbed into bed, turning away from me. Good night. Night. I waited until her breathing evened out, then crept downstairs to my office. If I was going to catch a fraud in action, I needed better tools. Best Buy opened at 10 a.m. Chapter 4. The Technology. The next morning, after Lisa left for her committee meeting, I drove to Best Buy with a mission. The teenager in the home security section was eager to help. I need a pet camera, I told him. Best you have. Oh, cool. For checking on them while you're at work. Something like that. He showed me to a display of options. This one's our top seller. 1080p, night vision, two-way audio so you can talk to your pet. What about storage? Stores locally on an SD card, or you can get cloud storage for a monthly fee. I'll take the cloud option. What's your highest resolution? His eyes lit up. Oh, you want the premium experience. Check this out. 4K resolution, 160-degree field of view, AI-powered motion detection that can distinguish between pets and people. Even has facial recognition if you want to get alerts only for specific individuals. Perfect. I'll take it. Just one? I thought about it. Better make it 3. I want full coverage. Wow, you must really love your dog. He's worth it. The total came to nearly $800 with the premium cloud storage plan. I paid cash. Installing these yourself? The kid asked. Planning to. Cool. Pro tip. The app lets you set up activity zones. Super helpful if you want to monitor specific areas without getting alerts every time your dog walks by. Thanks. That's very helpful. Back home, I had 2 hours before Lisa typically returned from her meetings. Plenty of time to set up my surveillance network. The main camera went in the living room, positioned on a bookshelf with a clear view of the front door, couch, and hallway. The second covered the kitchen and back door. The third I placed upstairs, ostensibly to watch Max while he naps on our bed. The app setup was straightforward. I created zones around the entry points and main living areas. The AI detection worked remarkably well, correctly identifying Max versus human movement. I could access all 3 feeds from my phone simultaneously, record clips, and get instant alerts. I tested the system by walking through each room. Crystal clear video, surprisingly good audio. The night vision would be unnecessary for my purposes, but nice to have. Max watched my activities with mild interest, occasionally bringing me toys in case I'd forgotten about playtime. Sorry, buddy, I told him, accepting a slobbery rope toy. Just making sure you're safe. He wagged agreeably. Dogs are wonderful that way. No judgment, no questions, just acceptance. By the time Lisa came home, arms full of library fundraising materials, I was back in my office working on legitimate spreadsheets. How was the meeting? I called out. Productive. We're almost at our goal. She sounded genuinely happy. Martha brought those cookies you like. I saved you some. Thanks. Normal. Everything normal. Just a regular Wednesday in our regular life. Except for the 3 cameras now monitoring our home and the Thursday appointment I'd made to work from the office conference room. Chapter 5. Wednesday Preparation. That evening, I put my plan in motion. Big news, I announced over dinner. Remember the Henderson account I've been working on? Lisa looked up from her salad. The manufacturing company? That's the one. They want a full audit presentation Thursday morning. Davidson's bringing in the whole team. That's great, honey. This could mean a promotion, right? Possibly, but I need to prep all day tomorrow. I'll be at the office early and probably won't be home until late. Oh. Something flickered across her face. Relief? Well, I'll make sure to save you dinner. Don't worry about it. I'll grab something downtown. You know how these presentations go. Davidson likes to take the team out afterward to celebrate or commiserate. Of course. I remember. She reached across the table to squeeze my hand. I'm proud of you, John. You work so hard for us. The gesture was so tender, so reminiscent of the woman I'd married, that I almost wavered. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe there was a legitimate explanation. Maybe Dr. Kelly is coming tomorrow for Max's treatment, she added. I'll make sure to keep him quiet so you can focus on your prep. Thanks. How's Max doing with the treatments, by the way? Oh, wonderful, doctor. Kelly says he's responding really well. His mobility is so much better. I watched Max sprawled on his bed, legs akimbo, snoring peacefully. His mobility had always been perfect. Good to hear. That night, Lisa initiated intimacy for the first time in months. It was passionate, almost desperate, like she was trying to reconnect or maybe say goodbye to something. Afterward, she curled against me, tracing patterns on my chest. I love you, John. Love you too. I mean it. I know I've been distracted lately with the fundraiser and everything, but you're a good man. The best. Lisa? Is everything okay? Perfect. Just feeling grateful. She fell asleep like that, pressed against me, while I stared at the ceiling, wondering if this was guilt or genuine affection. Maybe both. Human emotions are complex that way. Chapter 6. D-Day Wednesday morning, I followed my usual routine meticulously. Shower, shave, dress in my best suit, pack my laptop bag with necessary files. Kiss Lisa goodbye. "Knock 'em dead, Tiger," she said, straightening my tie. "You've got this." "Thanks. Have a good day. Tell Dr. Kelly I said hello." "I will." No hesitation, no tell. Either she was a better liar than I thought, or she truly believed I had no idea what was happening. I drove to the office, made sure several people saw me arrive. Stopped by Davidson's office to confirm our meeting. "Harper, ready for the Henderson presentation?" "Absolutely. I'll be in conference room C all day preparing. Do not disturb unless the building's on fire." Davidson laughed. "That's the spirit. Make us proud." Conference room C was perfect. Private, lockable, good Wi-Fi. I set up my laptop, opened the pet camera app, and pulled up actual work files in case anyone checked on me. Then I ordered lunch delivery for 12:30 and settled in to wait. The morning passed slowly. Max wandered through frame occasionally, doing normal dog things. Around 11 a.m., Lisa appeared, tidying the already clean living room. She fluffed pillows, adjusted picture frames, and checked her reflection in the mirror above the fireplace. At 11:47, she disappeared upstairs. At 12:15, my lunch arrived. Turkey club, chips, coffee. I ate mechanically, eyes on the screen. At 12:52, Lisa reappeared in the living room. My sandwich turned to cardboard in my mouth. She wore lingerie. Not just any lingerie, the red lace set I'd bought her for our anniversary 2 years ago. The one she'd modeled once declared gorgeous but not practical and relegated to the back of her drawer. Apparently, Wednesdays made it practical. She checked her reflection again, adjusting the bra, smoothing the matching panties. Her hair was styled, makeup fresh. She looked like she was auditioning for a Victoria's Secret catalog, for a veterinary exam, for our dog. At 1:03, she sprayed perfume. I could practically smell it through the screen, the expensive bottle I'd given her last Christmas, the one she saved for special occasions. At 1:47, she paced. Nervous energy, anticipation. She kept checking her phone, smiling at something on the screen. At 1:58, she took a deep breath, checked her appearance one final time, and faced the door. At 2:07, the doorbell rang. Chapter 7. The revelation Lisa practically ran to the door. Through the camera, I watched her pause, hand on the knob, composing herself. Then she opened it. Dr. Brandon Kelly stood on our porch. No medical bag, no equipment, no supplies. Just tight jeans that looked painted on, a fitted black t-shirt that showed every gym-earned muscle, and that Instagram-perfect smile. "Hey, beautiful," he said, stepping inside. "Hey yourself," Lisa breathed, and then they were kissing. Not a polite peck, not a friendly greeting. "God, I missed you so much," Lisa whispered breathlessly. "It's only been a week, baby," Brandon laughed. "The longest week of my life. John's been home a lot lately." "I was afraid he'd be working from home today." "But isn't he working?" "Important presentation. He'll be gone all day. We have until at least 6. "Great. I've been thinking about you. About this." Max barked once from his bed, a formal acknowledgement of the guest's presence. "Maybe we should?" Lisa pointed to the hallway. "In a minute." "Let me look at you. Damn, Lisa, you're incredible." They stood there, Lisa leading him by the hand into our bedroom. Our marital bed. The camera in the living room couldn't see into the bedroom, but I could hear the sound coming from there. Chapter 8. The call I sat in conference room C, staring at my laptop screen, listening to my marriage fall apart through high-quality speakers. My hands were completely still when I picked up the phone. It was strange how calm I was. No anger, no tears, just a cold clarity that came with the confirmation of my suspicions. The evidence was irrefutable, recorded in 4K resolution with crystal clear audio. I dialed 911. 911, what's happening? I want to report a fraud taking place at 1847 Maple Street. What kind of fraud, sir? A man claiming to be a veterinarian is taking money for medical services he is not providing. I am looking at the security cameras right now, and he is having sex with my wife instead of treating our dog. There was a pause. Sir, is this a domestic dispute? No, I interrupted calmly. This is financial fraud. He took payment, $300 a week for 8 weeks, for veterinary services. He came without any medical equipment and is now in my bedroom having sex with my wife. This is fraud, correct? Sir, are you at the house? No, I'm at the office in the conference room at Davidson and Associates if you need to check. I'm watching through the security cameras. The fraud is ongoing. And you said he claims to be a veterinarian? Yes, Dr. Brandon Kelly, Mobile Vet Plus. He has a website, business cards, and he accepts payment for veterinary services. Only he's not listed in any veterinary database, and he's currently, yes, very enthusiastically not providing medical care to my dog. We'll send a team to investigate the fraud complaint. Great. Oh, I should mention, he claims to be licensed in Colorado, but practices in Kansas. That's interstate fraud, right? Also, he has an Instagram account with 10,000 followers where he pretends to be a veterinarian. Based on my research, he has many victims. Sir, please remain calm. I'm very calm. I'm documenting everything for evidence. My dog, by the way, is sleeping peacefully in the living room, completely ignored by the supposed veterinarian who's being paid to treat him. I stayed on the line, providing updates like a sports commentator. They're getting quite athletic now. Still no sign of veterinary equipment. Oh wait, she just called him doctor. Does that count as impersonating a physician during the commission of fraud? Sir, officers are en route. Wonderful. You might want to have them knock loudly. The suspects seem very focused. 23 minutes later, I knew because I'd been tracking everything in a spreadsheet. 2 patrol cars pulled up to my house. Through the camera, I watched 2 officers approach my front door. They knocked. No response. They knocked harder. Still nothing. They pounded. Finally, Lisa appeared in the living room, hastily tying a robe. Her hair was wrecked, lipstick smeared, the perfect image of interrupted passion. She cracked the door open. Yes? Ma'am, we're responding to a fraud complaint. We've received a report of veterinary services not being rendered despite payment. The color drained from her face. What? There must be some mistake. Brandon appeared behind her, shirtless, trying to look casual. His abs glistened with sweat. Officers, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Are you Dr. Brandon Kelly? The taller officer asked. Yes. Doctor of Veterinary Medicine? Yes. Do you have your license with you? Any medical equipment? The complainant says you arrived empty-handed for a scheduled veterinary appointment. Time for my entrance. I called Lisa's cell. She fumbled for it on the entry table, nearly dropping it. John. Hi, honey. Put me on speaker, please. She did, hands shaking. Hi, officers. I'm John Harper, the homeowner and fraud victim. I'm watching on security cameras from my office. Dr. Kelly arrived at 2:07 p.m. for a scheduled veterinary appointment for our dog Max. He brought no medical equipment and has spent the last 45 minutes having sex with my wife instead of providing the services we've paid for. You're watching? Brandon's voice cracked. Every second, in 4K, with audio. Officers, I've documented 8 weeks of payments totaling $2,400 to Mr. Kelly for veterinary services. I've also confirmed he's not licensed in any state. His real profession appears to be personal trainer, though he seems to specialize in very specific flexibility exercises. John, please, Lisa started. Please what? Please don't report your boyfriend to the veterinary board? Too late. Already filed complaints in Colorado and Kansas. Also contacted the IRS. I doubt he's reporting this income. Oh, and Brandon? Your other 17 Wednesday clients might be interested to know you're not a real vet. Chapter 9. The Unraveling. The officers stepped inside. Max finally noticed the commotion and wandered over, tail wagging, clearly unaware he was supposed to be receiving medical treatment. "Sir," the taller officer addressed Brandon, "we need to see your veterinary credentials." "They're at my office," Brandon stammered. "Your mobile vet office? Where's your vehicle? Your equipment?" "Officers," I interjected through the phone. "If you check the driveway, you'll find a 2022 BMW M4. License plate Fit Doc 1. Not exactly a typical veterinary vehicle. No equipment visible inside." One officer went to check. "He's right. No medical equipment visible." "Also," I continued, enjoying myself now, "Brandon's Instagram handle is Dr. Brandon Kelly DVM. Impersonating a medical professional online. That's additional fraud, right? Check his Venmo too. Dr. Kelly Vet. Dozens of $300 transactions with paw print emojis." Brandon tried to leave. The officers blocked him. "It was just role play," he blurted. "Lisa wanted role play," I laughed. "With credit card charges, business cards, a professional website, client reviews. That's not role play, Brandon. That's a business model. A fraudulent one." The shorter officer was taking notes. "How many other clients did you say?" 17 that I've documented so far. All wealthy neighborhoods, all Wednesday appointments. All with mysteriously healthy dogs. I have a spreadsheet if you'd like it." "John, stop this!" Lisa pleaded. "We can talk. We are talking. I'm explaining to these officers how Brandon has been running a sex-for-pay operation disguised as veterinary care, which is fraud, prostitution, and tax evasion all rolled into one. Quite entrepreneurial, really." More police arrived. A detective in a suit who looked like he'd seen everything and was still somehow disappointed in humanity. "Mr. Harper? I'm Detective Morrison. Can you provide remote access to your security footage?" "Absolutely. I've already uploaded everything to a secure cloud drive. 8 weeks of Brandon arriving with no equipment, leaving 2 hours later with Max unexamined. Time-stamped, high definition with audio. You've been recording for 8 weeks? No, just today. But the pattern is clear. Same time, same day, same duration. And detective? Check out his website testimonials. Notice how they're all from women, all mentioning how attentive and thorough he is. Not many specifics about actual veterinary care." Chapter 10. The evidence Detective Morrison was thorough. While Brandon got dressed under police supervision, the detective reviewed my evidence on his tablet. "Mr. Harper, you've put together quite a case file. Financial analyst. Documentation is my life. I've included his business registration, LLC in Delaware, by the way. Classic fraud setup. Bank records showing regular Wednesday deposits. Social media evidence of impersonation. Cross-referenced client list with publicly available information. This is more organized than most of our fraud cases. I had motivation. Also, detective, you might want to check if any of these women's husbands have noticed similar charges. If they're writing them off as medical expenses on taxes, that's IRS fraud." Brandon, now dressed, tried one more time. "This is all a misunderstanding. I provide wellness services." "Shut up," his newly arrived lawyer advised. "Smart counsel," I said through the phone. "Brandon, did you know Max is allergic to certain medications? It's in his real vet file. Good thing you never tried to give him anything. Oh wait, you don't have any medications, or equipment, or training." "Mr. Harper," Detective Morrison said, "we'll need a formal statement from you." "Happy to provide one. I'll be at the station within an hour." "Lisa, don't go anywhere. You'll want to explain your role in this fraud." "My role? I'm a victim too." "Victim? You scheduled the appointments. You paid him. You answered the door in lingerie for a medical professional. Either you're complicit or you have very unusual medical fetishes. Which would you prefer to claim?" She was crying now. Not pretty tears. Ugly, mascara-running sobs. "Also, Lisa, remember when you said Dr. Chen recommended him? I called her office. They've never heard of Brandon Kelly. So that's another lie to add to the pile." Chapter 11. The Aftermath. The news spread through our suburban neighborhood like wildfire through dry grass. By evening, it was on local news. Fake vet caught in elaborate fraud scheme. My phone exploded with calls and texts. I ignored most, answered a few. Marcus. Holy shit, John, saw the news. You okay? Define okay. Fair, need a lawyer? I know the best divorce attorney in the state. Send me her number. From my hotel room, I couldn't stomach going home. I watched the story evolve online. Someone leaked the police report. Brandon's Instagram followers were dissecting every post, looking for clues they'd missed. Then the other women started coming forward. First was Sarah from Sarah Loves Dogs. She called the police station, crying, admitting she'd been seeing Dr. Kelly for 6 months. Her husband had questioned the charges. She'd insisted Buttercup needed specialized care. Then Margaret Whitman, trophy wife of a hedge fund manager. She'd been paying $500 per session for her Yorkie's anxiety treatments. By midnight, 17 women had contacted police. All with the same story. Handsome mobile vet, Wednesday appointments, no actual medical care provided. Brandon's fraud had netted him over $100,000 in 6 months. Chapter 12. The lawyer, Sarah Winters, looked exactly like a divorce attorney should. Sharp suit, sharper mind, and eyes that had seen every possible permutation of marital disaster. Mr. Harper, I've reviewed the police report. This is certainly unique. That's one word for it. Your wife was having an affair. That's unfortunately common. But the fraud angle? That gives us leverage. How much leverage? She smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. She participated in fraud using marital assets. That opens up forensic accounting. How much has she spent preparing for these appointments? Lingerie, waxing, gym membership? I pulled out my laptop. I've prepared a spreadsheet. Sarah actually laughed. Of course you have. May I? She reviewed my documentation, 6 months of credit card statements analyzed, categorized, and cross-referenced. $3,000 at Victoria's Secret in 3 months? She said she was treating herself for the fundraising stress. $400 monthly at a med spa? Self-care is important, apparently. $200 weekly for a personal trainer? She wanted to get healthy. Now I know what motivated her. Sarah leaned back. This is financial infidelity on top of physical infidelity. The court will not look kindly on this. Add in the fraud participation. Can we recover the $2,400? We can do better, much better. She used marital funds to facilitate an affair disguised as pet care. That's dissipation of assets. We can argue for unequal distribution based on economic misconduct. How unequal? How angry are you? I installed cameras to catch a fake vet. I found my wife in lingerie. You tell me. Then very unequal. Leave it to me. Chapter 13. The Media Circus. Someone, probably one of the other victims, leaked the story to a bigger outlet. Fake vet's house call hustle made regional news, then national. My phone became unusable. Reporters wanted interviews. I gave exactly one, carefully coached by Sarah. Mr. Harper, how did you discover the fraud? I looked directly into the camera. I noticed unusual charges on our credit card. When I investigated, I discovered we were paying for veterinary services that weren't being provided. And you installed cameras? To monitor our dog while at work. Imagine my surprise when I discovered the vet had no medical equipment. How do you feel about your wife's involvement? Disappointed. Max deserved better medical care. The interviewer laughed. What about your marriage? Max is my primary concern. He's the real victim here. He could have had actual medical issues that went untreated while we paid for non-medical services. The interview went viral. #FakeVetGate started trending. Memes proliferated. Max's face with, "I'm not even sick, Karen." Brandon's headshot labeled, "Not a doctor, but plays one in your bedroom." A golden retriever wearing a detective hat. Solved the case by sleeping through it. Max became an inadvertent celebrity. People recognized him at the dog park. Is that the fake vet dog? The very one. Can I pet him? Sure, no charge, and I'm not pretending it's medical care. Chapter 14. The reckoning Brandon's trial was swift. His lawyer tried the consenting adults defense. The prosecutor, a woman who looked like she ate defense attorneys for breakfast, destroyed it in minutes. Mr. Kelly created a website claiming veterinary credentials. He accepted payment for veterinary services. He provided no veterinary care. That's fraud, regardless of what additional services he provided. My client never explicitly... Your client's Venmo handle is DurKellyVet. His Instagram bio says DVM, Colorado State. His website promises comprehensive veterinary care. Either he's a fraud or he's the world's worst veterinarian who forgot to bring equipment to every appointment. 17 women testified. Each story was eerily similar. Found him online, impressed by his credentials, scheduled weekly appointments, received no actual veterinary care. The prosecutor presented my spreadsheets. The judge actually whistled. This is the most organized fraud documentation I've seen. Did the victim prepare this? Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Harper is a financial analyst. Remind me never to commit fraud against an accountant. Brandon got 2 years, served 8 months. His Instagram became evidence. Every post claiming veterinary expertise was another count of fraud. The IRS got involved. Turns out Brandon hadn't reported any of his veterinary income. Tax evasion added another year. Chapter 15. The divorce Lisa hired her own attorney, a silver-haired man who specialized in protecting women's interests. Their strategy was predictable. Claim she was a victim too, deceived by a cunning fraudster. Sarah destroyed that narrative in the first hearing. Your Honor, Mrs. Harper answered the door in lingerie for a veterinary appointment. Either she's complicit in the fraud or she has very specific medical fetishes that require psychological evaluation. That's inflammatory, Lisa's lawyer sputtered. That's factual. We have video evidence. Would you like to see Mrs. Harper greeting the veterinarian in red lace? No, Lisa burst out. Please, no! The judge reviewed the evidence privately. He returned looking professionally neutral, but personally disgusted. Mrs. Harper, did you know Brandon Kelly wasn't a licensed veterinarian? I suspected. You suspected. Yet you paid him $2,400 for veterinary services? He said he was helping Max. Was Max sick? Silence. Mrs. Harper? Brandon said he could detect issues before symptoms appeared. I see. And did these detection sessions require you to wear lingerie? Lisa's lawyer objected. Overruled. Mrs. Harper, you used marital funds to pay for an affair disguised as pet care. That's financial misconduct. You participated in fraud, whether knowingly or through willful ignorance. This court does not look kindly on such behavior. The settlement was brutal. I kept the house, Max, and 70% of our assets. Lisa got her car, her personal belongings, and the debt from her credit cards. This is unfair, she whispered as we left court. No, I replied. Unfair is making me pay for your boyfriend's fake vet visits. This is consequences. Chapter 16. The New Normal. 6 months after the fake vet incident, my life had found a new rhythm. Max and I had settled into bachelor life. Morning runs, evening walks, weekend hikes. He didn't seem to miss his treatments. I'd turned down interview requests and book deals. Pet Cam Justice, How I Caught the Fake Vet, didn't appeal to me as a memoir title. But I did start a YouTube channel. Initially just to share Max's antics, but it evolved into something more. Fraud prevention education. Pet Cam Justice launched with a carefully edited version of my story. 5 million views in a week. The comments ranged from supportive to savage. Max deserves a medal for exposing this. $300 for that performance. Brandon needs to up his game. The dog knew the whole time. Imagine losing everything for a fake vet. I partnered with real veterinarians to create educational content. 5 signs. Your vet might be fake. How to verify medical credentials. Why your pet's real health matters. The channel grew. People sent their own stories. Not just fake vets, fake contractors, fake tutors, fake therapists. Always the same pattern. Attractive, professional, house calls, lonely spouses, mysteriously healthy subjects. Chapter 17. The date 8 months after the incident, Marcus set me up on a blind date. She's perfect for you, he insisted. Smart, funny, loves dogs. What's her name? Dr. Rachel Chen. Doctor of what? Veterinary medicine. Real one, I checked. Very funny. I'm serious. She works at Meadowbrook, you know, where Max goes? The same clinic. The irony wasn't lost on me. I met Rachel at a coffee shop downtown. She was beautiful in an understated way. Minimal makeup, hair in a ponytail, wearing jeans and a t-shirt that said, "I work hard so my dog can have a better life." So, she said after we'd ordered, "You're the fake vet guy." That's me. You're the real vet who has to deal with the fallout. She laughed. You have no idea. We've had so many people asking to verify credentials since your story broke. We actually created a verification system, QR codes linking to our licensing database. Sorry about that. Don't be. It's good for the profession. Weeds out the frauds. She studied me over her latte. How's Max? Perfect. Though he might have trust issues with vets now. Bring him in. I'll win him over. I have excellent treats and actual medical knowledge. Sold. But I'll need to see your credentials first. She pulled out her phone, showing me photos of her diplomas, licenses, even her veterinary school graduation. Also, 3 peer-reviewed publications on canine osteoarthritis. Good enough? Perfect. But fair warning, I might install cameras. After what you went through, I'd be worried if you didn't. Chapter 18. The relationship. Rachel and I took things slow. Coffee became lunch, became dinner, became weekend hikes with Max. She won him over immediately. Turns out, real veterinary knowledge includes knowing exactly where dogs like to be scratched. He's in excellent health, she noted during one walk. All that fake treatment didn't hurt him physically, just emotionally scarred his owner. You seem to be recovering well. We'd been dating 3 months when she stayed over for the first time. As she headed to the bathroom, she paused. Just so we're clear, I'm a real vet. This is a real relationship, and I have no Wednesday appointments. Noted. Also, the cameras are only in common areas. Good to know. The relationship was easy in a way my marriage hadn't been for years. Rachel was direct, honest, passionate about her work. She'd share stories from the clinic. I'd update her on the latest fraud attempts people sent to the channel. Someone tried the fake nutritionist scam, I told her one evening. Same playbook, house calls, attractive expert, lonely spouses. People never learn. Loneliness makes people stupid. Is that what happened with Lisa? I thought about it. Maybe. We'd grown apart. I was working constantly. She was bored. Brandon offered excitement disguised as dog care. And now? Now I have better work-life balance and a girlfriend who actually treats animals. Chapter 19. The channel growth. Pet Cam Justice hit 1 million subscribers 10 months after launch. What started as catching one fake vet had become a fraud prevention movement. I featured real professionals explaining their credentials. Actual veterinarians showing their equipment, licensed contractors displaying permits, certified trainers demonstrating techniques. Each video ended with "Verify, don't trust." The fake vet video remained the most popular. Comments still poured in daily. My mobile groomer doesn't bring equipment either. Thanks to this, I caught my life coach scamming my wife. Max is the hero we needed. Companies started sponsoring the channel. Security camera manufacturers, background check services, professional verification platforms. I donated most profits to animal shelters and fraud victim funds. You've created something important, Rachel said, reviewing the latest statistics. 17 fraud rings exposed, thousands of people saved from scams. All because Lisa wanted a hot fake vet. Life's weird that way. Chapter 20. The wedding Rachel and I married 2 years after the fake vet incident. Small ceremony at a botanical garden, Max as ring bearer. He performed admirably, only trying to eat the rings twice. My best man Marcus gave a memorable toast. When John called me about a fake veterinarian, I thought he'd lost his mind. When he sent me security footage, I thought his marriage had lost its mind. When it became national news, I realized John had stumbled onto something profound: the intersection of modern technology and ancient deception. He turned personal betrayal into public service, exposed a nationwide fraud ring, and found love with a real veterinarian. Plus, he got to keep the dog. To John and Rachel, may your love be real, your pets be healthy, and your security cameras always be recording. The crowd laughed and applauded. Even Max barked approval. Lisa sent a card. Congratulations. I'm happy you found someone. I'm sorry for everything. L. I showed it to Rachel. Thoughts? She's trying. That's something. Very veterinarian of you. Compassionate even to those who don't deserve it. Everyone deserves compassion, but not everyone deserves trust. Verify, don't trust? Exactly. Chapter 21. The update: 5 years after the fake vet incident, life had settled into a new normal. Rachel and I had bought a larger house with comprehensive security, adopted a second dog, a rescue named Sherlock, and were expecting our first child. The YouTube channel had evolved into a full fraud prevention platform. We'd partnered with professional organizations to create verification databases. Is My Professional Real? Became a go-to resource. Brandon Kelly served his full sentence and disappeared after release. Rumors placed him in Florida, working construction. His Instagram vanished, his website long defunct. Lisa remarried, to an actual doctor this time. A cardiologist she met at a medical fundraiser. I hoped she'd learn to verify credentials. Think she tells him about the fake vet? Rachel wondered when we heard the news. Probably not. Would you? I'd have to. Imagine him finding out later. Via security camera? God, no. Once per lifetime is enough for that revelation. The other victims had various outcomes. Some divorced, some reconciled, some remained in limbo. A support group formed, Fake Professional Fraud Survivors. They met monthly, sharing stories and warning signs. Chapter 22. The Documentary. A streaming service approached me about a documentary, The Fake Vet. A true crime story sounded sensational, but they promised a serious approach. We want to explore how loneliness and technology intersect in modern fraud, the director explained. Your story is the perfect entry point. I agreed, with conditions. Max got featured prominently, real veterinarians got significant screen time, and fraud prevention stayed the focus. The documentary crew followed us for 6 months. They interviewed me, Rachel, Detective Morrison, even some of Brandon's other victims. They couldn't get Lisa or Brandon to participate. Probably wise, Rachel noted. Nothing good could come from that. The hardest part was recreating certain scenes. An actor played Brandon, another played Lisa. Watching performers reenact the worst day of my marriage felt surreal. You okay? Rachel asked after a particularly difficult filming day. Yeah. It's like watching someone else's life now. Good. That means you've healed. Max, meanwhile, had become a seasoned performer. He hit his marks, looked soulful on command, and never once acknowledged the fake Brandon. Professional to the core. The documentary premiered to critical acclaim. A riveting exploration of modern deception, one review gushed. The dog steals every scene, another noted. More importantly, it sparked conversations about professional verification and fraud prevention. Veterinary organizations used it in training. Marriage counselors discussed it in sessions. You turned pain into purpose, my therapist observed. Yes, I'd finally started therapy. Rachel's gentle insistence. Someone had to. Might as well be me and Max. Chapter 23. The Speaking Circuit. After the documentary, speaking requests poured in. Business conferences wanted to hear about fraud detection. Veterinary associations needed education on protecting their profession. Security companies sought testimonials. I selected carefully, focusing on events that could make a real difference. The American Veterinary Medical Association keynote was particularly meaningful. 3,000 real veterinarians gathered to hear about fake ones. Brandon Kelly fooled 17 families, I told the packed auditorium. Not because he was particularly clever, but because people trust professionals. That trust is sacred. When someone abuses it, whether for money or sex or both, it damages everyone in your profession. The audience was attentive, many taking notes. Verify, don't trust. Make your credentials easily checkable. Educate clients about what real veterinary care looks like. And if someone shows up to treat an animal without equipment in tight jeans on a Wednesday afternoon, maybe ask some questions. The laughter was cathartic. These were people who dedicated their lives to animal care, watching their profession get exploited for suburban affairs. During the conda, a young vet student asked, "Do you blame the profession for not preventing this?" No. I blame Brandon for being a fraud and Lisa for participating. But we can all do better at verification. Trust, but verify isn't cynical, it's smart. Chapter 24. The baby our daughter arrived on a Wednesday. The irony wasn't lost on us. At least we know the doctors are real, I joked as Rachel labored. Not funny, she gasped between contractions. Also, I verified everyone's credentials while pregnant. That's my girl. Emma was perfect. 10 fingers, 10 toes, suspicious expression that suggested she'd inherited both parents' skepticism. Max and Sherlock accepted her immediately, appointing themselves guardian angels. Parenthood brought new perspectives on the fake vet saga. How would I explain it to Emma someday? Daddy caught Mommy's first wife with a pretend doctor seemed inadequate. Tell her the truth when she's old enough, Rachel suggested during a 3 a.m. feeding. People lie, but technology and determination can expose truth. And verify professionals. That too. Our daughter will never fall for a fake anything. Poor kid. We're going to be those parents who background check her prom date. After what you went through? Absolutely. The channel evolved to include family safety content. Protecting your children from scams became a popular series. Parents shared stories of fake tutors, bogus coaches, fraudulent nannies. Always the same pattern. Always preventable with proper verification. Chapter 25. The 10-year reflection. A decade after installing those pet cameras, I sat in my home office. Different house, same analytical mindset, preparing a retrospective video. Max lay at my feet, gray-muzzled but still devoted. Sherlock sprawled nearby. Emma played with blocks, occasionally offering them to the dogs. 10 years ago, I began recording, I discovered my wife was paying a fake veterinarian for a very different kind of house call. That discovery launched a journey I never expected. I talked about the pain of betrayal, the satisfaction of justice, the unexpected joy of building something meaningful from personal disaster. Brandon Kelly is out of prison, hopefully living an honest life. Lisa has moved on, and I wish her well. Max never did need those treatments, but thousands of pets have received better care because their owners learned to verify credentials. The statistics were impressive. 57 fraud rings exposed through community reporting 12 states, implementing stricter professional verification requirements. Countless relationships saved by security cameras and spreadsheets. Would I do it again? Install those cameras, make that call, expose the fraud? Absolutely. Not out of vengeance, but because truth matters, trust matters, and Max matters. Emma toddled over, pointing at the screen. Doggy! That's right, sweetie. Doggy caught the bad man. Rachel appeared in the doorway. Recording? Just finishing? Want to add anything? She entered the frame, Emma on her hip. Just this. Verify your professionals, trust your instincts, and always check if your dog actually needs weekly appointments. Real vets bring equipment. And don't charge $300 for bedroom visits, I added. John! She can't understand yet. Emma grabbed for the camera. Doggy, Mama, Dada. Perfect summary, really. Epilogue. Max's legacy. Max passed peacefully at 15, surrounded by family. The vet, verified, licensed, and equipped, said he'd lived an exceptional life for a golden retriever. Healthy until the end, she noted. Whatever you did, it worked. No fake treatments, I said through tears. Just love and tennis balls. The channel community mourned with us. Thousands shared stories of how Max had inspired them to protect their pets and relationships. Someone created a compilation of his best moments from various videos. We scattered his ashes at his favorite hiking trail, the one where I'd first wondered why a healthy dog needed weekly vet visits. Good boy, Max, Emma said solemnly. At 5, she understood loss if not the full story. The best boy, Rachel agreed. A month later, a package arrived. Inside was a custom collar tag. Max Harper, fraud detection dog, first class. The sender remained anonymous, but the message was clear. Max's legacy lived on. We framed it next to his photo in the office. Below it, a simple plaque. The dog who exposed the truth by just being himself. Sherlock still looked for his brother sometimes. We'd find him lying in Max's old bed, tennis ball between his paws. Dogs grieve too, in their pure, honest way. The fake vet scandal became a footnote in our family history, referenced occasionally but no longer defining us. Emma knew the age-appropriate version. Daddy's first wife made bad choices, but it led to him meeting Mommy and making our family. Plus, we got famous because of Max, she'd add proudly. Infamous, I'd correct. What's the difference? About $2,400 and a lot of embarrassment. She didn't understand yet. Someday, she would. Someday, I'd show her the videos, the spreadsheets, the court documents. Teach her about trust and verification, about how people aren't always what they claim. But for now, she just knew that Max was a hero. Daddy caught bad guys with cameras, and Mommy was a real doctor who helped animals. Sometimes, that's enough. The YouTube channel continued, evolving with technology and new scam tactics. Deepfakes, AI-generated credentials, increasingly sophisticated frauds. But the core message remained: verify, don't just trust. In quiet moments, I'd think about that Wednesday afternoon when everything changed. One pattern noticed, one camera installed, one phone call made. The ripple effects had touched thousands of lives, exposed countless frauds, maybe even saved some marriages. All because a fake vet got too comfortable with his scam. All because a loyal dog didn't actually need treatment. All because sometimes the best security system isn't just watching your pet. It's watching who comes to treat them. Brandon, wherever you are, I hope you learned something. Lisa, I hope you found happiness. Max, I know you're chasing endless tennis balls somewhere, still the goodest boy. And to everyone else, check those credentials. Install those cameras. Trust but verify. Your pets and your relationships will thank you. The end.